Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Jonathan Liddell coming to you live from Florida, and my brothers and sisters home, Eric and Tawana, with my madre. Oh, wait a minute. If you don't get that camera act up. No. But for real, I've been wanting to sit down with Mom for a long time. We always talk a lot, right, about faith, life, everything. But I thought how cool would it be to actually have this on camera where I can go back and look at it, and I think it'll be helpful for other people. I got other brothers and sisters. Some of the stuff that you say, I tell me, it's a word of wisdom. And I have some questions for her that I want to ask.
Okay.
And so, you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Alright, so considering that you're my first interview that I would have ever done in my life. Alright, I'm gonna get to start off with a quick little game.
Alright.
It's a little 1-for-1, which basically means I'm gonna say a word, and you're gonna say the first word that comes to mind. Alright?
This will be fun.
Let's get it. Antiquated.
What?
Antiquated.
You said the first word that came to my mind. What?
Okay. Loyalty.
Jesus.
Loyalty.
Me.
Loyalty.
You.
Ambition.
Joshua.
Family.
My children.
Mother.
Me.
Mother.
Me.
Mother.
I said me. How many times?
Okay, Mom. Now, you did good at that game. She didn't really want to play at all. but it's okay. But I want to start with that.
Okay.
Because in preparing for this interview or this talk or whatever, I noticed it was increasingly hard for me to not see you out of the context
Of mother. Okay.
Of mom. And I know that may seem normal for you, but it's odd for me because, you know, when I was born, I met you as mom. Mm-hmm. But you weren't born a mother. You were a woman before you were a mom. And I think today, most people who know you, they would characterize you as mother, minister, teacher, band director, right? But I guess my first question to start this off would be, who were you before you were a mom? Or better yet, how would you say people characterize you before you were a mother? Whichever way you want to take it.
Fine, no problem. Kids at school would have called me a nerd. I was a loner. Goody two-shoes. Didn't get in any trouble. Smart, obedient. Most likely to succeed, to be successful. That's who kids knew me back in elementary and junior high and high school. A leader. Someone driven, motivated. They never would have guessed I would have been a mother of 10 children. That would never have entered their minds.
Had that ever entered your mind?
I wanted 4, 2 girls and 2 boys.
When did you decide that you only wanted to have 4 kids?
All my life.
All your life, you always.
I can remember whenever you want to think about getting married and having children, 4 was the idea. And that might have been planted by Disney or somebody, because always, you know, it's a family of 2 kids and 2.
Did you have any preferences as far as boys, girls?
2 girls, 2 boys.
2 girls, 2 boys.
Yeah.
Wow, I see from 2 boys, 2 girls to 5 boys and 5 girls.
The blessing of the Lord. Make it rich and adds no sorrow.
That's interesting. That actually leads me to a question I want to ask. How did you find a way to raise 10 kids in an era where so many of my peers and people in my generation are struggling to raise 1?
I'm glad you asked that. Because the first thing that comes to mind is just simple trust. Not worried, not thinking about it. I know now they say plan, save, prepare. But in my day, you didn't.
So
you just didn't.
So you didn't read one book?
Of course not.
So there's no book on how to be a mother. So you call it a scam anyway to see how that really.
In my day,
Okay.
You had role models that you either wanted to be like or not be like. But I think it's a calling, and I think it's internal. It's just internal, because I didn't think about it. People laughing, how are you feeding all these kids? It never occurred to me how I was going to feed them all. I just knew they're going to be fed. When a baby is born, the baby doesn't wonder, you know, how am I going to be fed? They don't worry about those things. And so I just didn't worry about it. And I think back on that. It wasn't a burden. People on the outside saw it as a burden. I didn't. It was just life for me, normal life.
But I can imagine there was times when the money was tight, the food was low, and you were tired. So, as I know your story, I want to get too deep into it. And you like worrying never crossed your mind about how am I gonna do this? Because there was a period of time when you did it alone. How am I gonna do this by myself?
I guess I never considered it by myself, as hard as that may seem. I mean, there were times sometimes were really rough, but I never saw myself as failing though. You know what I'm saying? I never saw as if, man, if we don't do this, it's gonna be the end of the world. I never saw defeat. It didn't say there wasn't a struggle or things were really, 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 really tight. But as I reflect back over it, even in those stressful times, I don't remember saying, this is the end. Didn't mean it. I just somehow the Lord always came through. Whether I spoke it out loud or not, just a blessing came from somebody from somewhere.
That's real because as you were talking, I'm thinking back on my personal journey throughout life, and it's like every time I felt like I couldn't make it out of this or overcome this, at the end of the day, I always overcame it. Now I didn't always handle it with peace, right? With grace, or as you may have, but I've noticed that, and I'm watching your example. I try to apply that to my life. Okay, no matter what is happening, no matter how bad it is, I'm gonna overcome it. Yeah. Because I overcame it in the past.
I'll tell you one interesting story. When money was really, really, really low, and Delisha and Eric and Letitia were probably annoyed at this, but I remember going to this drive-through and buying ice cream. It was like, I gotta have something for me to be up for them. Now, I didn't get them anything because I didn't have enough money. I had enough money to get one thing, and I spent it on myself. And normally I wouldn't do that, but it's like, Lord, I need this so that I can deal with this. So sometimes when parents do stuff, they need to be sure that they're, something like the airlines, when they say, if there's a problem, put your mask on first, and then you can help somebody else. Right. That's kind of how that was for me. So that's how that was, Delisha, Eric, Letitia. I needed the mask on first. I know, I'm saying, Mama not feeding us. That's why.
Mask on, mask off. That's funny. Speaking of Delisha, Eric, and Letitia, because those are your older children, right? And they're, I would say, up to 35 through 40s, right? And you got kids from 35 to the age 40s. To kids from 30 to 20, as young as 21. And so my next question would be, what would you say is the biggest difference between raising kids as a young and raising kids as an older or seasoned mother? That's a better word to put it.
You learn a lot. Should learn from your mistakes as well as from your successes. And with the first ones, you're always just so very, very careful. I mean, they get the more pictures, the more this, and then you learn in life that some of that stuff doesn't really matter. What values is building relationships, and I guess that's the biggest thing.
I want to say on that, you said some of that stuff doesn't really matter. Like, what would you say? What would you classify as stuff that you see? I'm assuming you see other parents do for kids that you see, we're having raised 10 of them. You're like, that's really not necessary. Like, what would be some of those stuff in your opinion?
Well, now Eric tells me it's a generational thing because I've had so many children, but like, oh my gosh, for example, a child that's 1, 2, 3, and you buying all of them these lavish gifts, they don't know nothing about that. What's important to them is that they're loved and you establish that bond. I guess buying things. You can't buy love. It's better to be there and be a part of their lives. It's better to play a game one-on-one than to buy them a game and let them go in the corner and play it. That time spent together is more important because you're molding that life.
Okay. Yeah. I can attest to that, about spending time with it. with your children? Was that something you and Dad also did?
Yeah.
Speaking of Dad, because I always ask you this, but I want to get a real answer. How did you and Dad meet? Because I always get it confused.
Well, that's an easy question. We met on a church trip. I was at home with Mother. I had moved back to Arkadelphia, and I hadn't had a vacation in some years. It was me, Eric, Delisha, and Letitia, and I wanted to go on a vacation. So this First Trinity Church of God in Christ had a church bus, and they were going to the national convocation for the Churches of God in Christ. And that one was going to be held in Washington, D.C. It wasn't the one that's held in Memphis every year. It was one of the auxiliary rings. And I thought, man, I could just use a vacation, just for vacation. So Mother and Dad agreed to let Eric, Delisha, and Letitia stay with them, and I was going to go up there for that week. Well, your dad was director of the band. They had a church band, and their band was performing at this convention, and so he was on the bus. And I was not interested. I was just going to have a good time and just asking a curious question. I go, okay, so who's your band director? And Otis Richmond said, hey, Brother Liddell, this woman back here want to meet you? I go, no, I don't. I just want to know who the band director is. That's all.
Every great man
oh
needs a
my God.
wingman.
So your dad came up, introduced himself, and then said, oh, by the way, hold my coat. Oh, what?
Oh, he had his songs. Oh, my coat.
Gosh, the nerve of that man. So then when we would get off the bus, and he would help all the ladies off, but when I got ready to get off, he was nowhere to be found. I go, oh, wow, this man is something else. So then he'd get back on the bus and say, will you hold my coat again? No. So that's how we met. And I was at this meeting one night, worshiping God. It was a wonderful praise and worship service, and I heard these words: every good and perfect gift comes down from the Father above. Yep. I'm like, okay, God, I'm getting some money at this meeting. I'm getting some type of gift at that meeting.
You've been there before.
It was James.
So good old Pop.
Yeah.
Now, that's how y'all met. A little bit of a deeper question. You don't gotta go too deep, but why did you marry him?
Easy question. I'm surprised you don't know. I bet Delisha can tell you the story. Well, we started talking after that church meeting, and he lived in Pine Bluff and I lived in Arkadelphia, and there was no cell phones. So back in that day, they might have been out. Didn't have one. 3 seconds left. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll just make it quick. I was at home playing the piano like I normally do, 2 or 3 in the morning, and I just said to the Lord, God, I don't want to be wanting to be a part of this guy just because I'm lonely. It gotta be. My husband has got to love me as Christ has loved the church. I got a letter from him in the mail the next day, and the letter said, love you as Christ has loved the church. He had never signed his letters that way before. I nearly fell. I looked at it again. So I said, hey, when I saw him, I said, why did you sign that letter like that? He said, isn't that the way it's supposed to be? And so that was my answer. From then on, I was just waiting on him to ask me because I already had the answer from God.
That's dope.